We have hired four new young talented people. I think the Secretariat is running pretty well. We have good committees, we have good section work, and the result is that we have a position for all the urgent issues for the seed industry in Europe. So that's good. We are contacting the Commission, we are contacting the Parliament. Then last year we decided we're maybe not doing enough for outreach, to get our position over to the Parliament and to the Commission, and we hired another guy. And now I think we're well set, and as much as we can, we are vocal. And if you're asking me about leadership, I think the most challenging issue was to come to an IP position for our industry, because we have the very big ones and we have the small ones. We have the big ones that have the ability to patent, to make patents, and we have the small ones that are afraid of getting access to patents. So it needed a kind of leadership and also goodwill from our industry to come to a compromise position, but we did that, and I think now we are campaigning for that, and that's good for the industry. We were not so encouraged to think that we could establish a GM access for Europe. But what we wanted to get is thresholds for labeling of seeds, and we wanted to get definition when is 0, 0. So what is the method to define that I have no GMO in a seed where I don't want to have that? And I have to admit, our progress is very little, nothing visible. So having given you the bad news first, I go to the other ones. Yeah. I think we did a good job on the IP. We have an IP position which is in the tradition of Europe. We are depending a lot on PVP. We think that this is the right system to to foster innovation, but also to make sure that other breeders have access to the innovations and use them for innovating themselves. Right. And we have come to a position on these patents exactly in our tradition. So we have raised the bar for patents, but we are making sure that there are patents for biological developments, and we have made sure that there is an access to these patents, that you can use them for your own work. So I think that was a good success. ESA, the third one, is running pretty well. So we have 3 countries where it is in full swing. That's Germany, France, and UK. We are searching now for an ESA managing director. So the system is approved. We need to keep it running. It runs well for oilseed rape, for corn, for sunflower, and also France has started with cereals. And now the other countries are following: Austria, Hungary, Romania. So I think that's a nice success for us. If you look from outside to Europe, you think there's no progress. There is some progress, pretty little, but I can mention it. The one is we have the food and feed ruling. That means we have food and feed products that can go into Europe. I know there are much more on the waiting list than we have approved, but at least we get the soybeans in, we get the corn in. Europe is approving new events for food and feed. Then we have a threshold now for food, a definition of 0, what I said before. So if you import feed and you are below 0.1, you should not have troubles in Europe. And we know the Commission wants to come up with a recommendation or with a proposal of what would be a 0 definition for seeds as well. We don't know when. They say they do, but let's hope for the best. I would say my hopes for the industry is innovation and diversity. Innovation, because this is where we're living from, and I'm quite sure that also Europe is understanding that we need to increase our production. We know that we need to produce worldwide 70% more by 2050, and we know that the normal gains in yield that we have right now are not sufficient, especially not in cereals. So hoping that the community is aware of how important innovation is, this is my biggest hope, and also I'm trustful. I think this will come. The next thing is diversity, and this comes back to this European system where we say the PVP is our system, which means we can have a platform for more breeders, for a diversity of breeders, because our farmers also want to have a choice. And if we can promote that further on, that we are innovative, but also the one who has not made the invention can use it for his own work, I think we're well off. So this would be my biggest hope, and I'm not too concerned about that, because we know that the world needs more food and more feed, and we know that the importance of farming and of our farming output is increasing. So this should be a perfect environment also for our industry.